Well, hello. Charlie Greer podcast. Like, share, subscribe, comment. If you want to support the podcast, in the description, there's information for Zelle. Look me up. So, yeah, today, thoughts create things. And you're probably thinking, duh. No shit. Your thoughts, your thought patterns, we're born like a baby. The first thing a baby does is shake its head. No. It's like embedded in us, So when we get older, we like it's hard, you got to control your thoughts. And a lot of time, again, I'm a positive person. I've learned to control my thoughts, but sometimes your mind just wants to go to like even the most little negative thing. You're like, oh, I can't be into it. Sucks. You got to lasso those thoughts in. With thoughts create things. We all kind of know this, but you can actually work with this. Again, everything, it starts with a thought. You're daydreaming or whatever. Like, I'm going to start a band. I'm going to be a painter. I'm going to open a car dealership, whatever it is. Those thoughts, you're sending it out to the universe. And around 2005 is when I really started getting into like really, like analyzing, doing personal inventories about my thoughts, meditation. And it's funny how things happen. Like I was managing an art gallery in Burbank. And it was cool. It was nice. And the owner was like, oh, I hired these guru people or who, law of attraction. We're having this like 2-day course. And I was like, oh man, she was shutting down the business, and we had to go. She paid a lot of money too. And they were actually cool when they showed up. It was like I wish I knew their names, but they were like a couple. And they showed like the law of attraction. What's that called? The Secret, like the original Secret. I know there's different versions. But I was like, hey, yeah, law of attraction. My grandmother, my grandfather, and that kind of generation, they were like, hey, birds of feathers stick together, watch you. Like this hillbilly kind of farm knowledge. Damn near equates to like Hindu. And it's just crazy. Kind of the same concept. So I had that embedded in me, kind of growing up, and the other people, and I didn't want it, man. I remember that day I just didn't want to be there. I was like, oh man, I'm getting paid. I'd be working anyways. I guess this is easier than, I kind of just, hey, this is cool. Again, by then I even knew how to, control my thoughts, meaning I'm not going down that dark. Some people are just like, no, they don't know. I wasn't really into it, but I was like, hey, while in Rome, this might help. Come on, this documentary is kind of cool. I'm not like that. I don't let like some kind of, I got up this morning and stubbed my toes, so the rest of the day, I'm not like that. I've never been like that. Yeah, shit's going to happen, but just kind of like let it roll off your back and go. Don't, it's not, I know a lot of people, they're just looking for something to be mad about so they can just say, But yeah, in 2005, we did the first day, kind of dipping our toes in the water, and they showed us The Secret, and we did our first like sitting meditation. Then the next day, we came in and started and this, that. So we was trying to do like a sink dive, they called it, where you're meditating, you kind of just like, kind of go like mentally into. And honestly, it's just like, damn, this is some horse shit. We had to sit there quiet for like a half an hour. I was like, oh, But hey, I started, doing, sitting there, my eyes closed, trying to get rid of my thoughts, he said it was like a fishing pole, just reel those thoughts in, like try to clear your mind. And sure enough, I did it. Like, whoa, like that's what I said. I was like, well, And he knew, he's like, yeah, you did. And so we kind of connected then, like, and then we started after we break on lunch and stuff. He and his wife and I were like, could talk even, and I knew about, your thoughts, like concentrating on, it's like a mantra. I didn't even know I was doing mantras when I was younger. Just like, I just wanted to, and the problem a lot of us have, because nobody's exempt from this, unless you're working on this, you're going to have a problem with your thoughts. I mean, the problem is you have to, again, lasso those thoughts in and don't live in this kind of, are you too much in your mind? Again, can you converse? Do you repeat the bad most, do you only talk about the bad thing? Oh, I got cut off in traffic. Do you even know what you want? That's what I mean. Some people, you just get so down and you're just, depressed. You just don't even, you're just trying to survive. And if you haven't seen The Secret, which everybody probably has, you could probably find it on YouTube or the first 20 minutes. And there's a couple different ones. It's the one by Rhonda Byrne, I think her name is. But that's kind of like monkey simple kind of thing, everybody should know that. Like, hey, if you think bad, if you're just negative, that's what's you're gonna get. You're gonna surround yourself with these negative people, so you're gonna think it's normal. And then successful people don't have doubts like others do. They get rid of that. And a lot of times when you're doing something, people, even the people close around you, not only doubt themselves, they'll be doubting you. Like, hey, what's going on? It's just like, okay, shut up. It's exhausting. Again, I just kind of go with the flow. Like, I know what I got to do. I know this is what it's going to take. I know how long it's going to be. Been doing, it's just certain things you can do. Doesn't matter what you're doing, as long as you stick to these certain principles and work ethic, you will succeed. Yeah, they don't want you, again, and the powers that be, they don't want you to know about how you can. For one, there's no forward momentum. Everybody's stuck in that little kind of economic box. Right now in the history of the world, it's the first time like most of the millionaires are in their 20s, and it's because of the tech industry. What are the odds of that? I get it, but what are the odds? What are the what's the law of averages on that? But thoughts. What are you thinking about? What do you want to do? It starts with that thought. Hey, my dog's wanting to play. They're wanting to play. Like, dogs do it too, man. That's why dogs succeed, because they have like a one-track mind. Get the bone, get the bone, get the bone, get the bone, get the bone. They're going to get that bone. They're not thinking about any doubts. Especially when they snap and another dog around. They're not, hey, you can learn from that, man. Follow the ball, follow the ball, follow the ball. That's what you need. That's the thought pattern you need when you're trying to do something, especially when you're trying to do something from scratch. Not like I'm talking about like, I'm going to get this and go to get a job and then I'll just move up into it. No, you do have to have that, but I'm talking about like from scratch. Like, hey, I'm going to start a business, or I'm going to start a band, or I'm going to be an actor, or I'm going to be whatever it is. I'm going to start my own gardening business, whatever. For one, you should concentrate on what makes you happy. Then hopefully you can parlay that into like some income. That's kind of the dream, right? But you got to control your thoughts. Again, I've learned sometimes it's a tennis match, but I've learned that just clear your mind. And again, you're not going to be like, you're numb to everything. No. Just realize that all things must pass. That thought is just, again, we can't even control most of the thoughts. And there's so many thoughts. I forget how many thousands a day. A lot of them are negative. We can't, our subconscious, they don't even know. Science is like, oh, what? So you can't, that's why I think people get into problems, is they're like, don't lasso the negative thoughts. Again, do you know what you want to do? Do you really know what makes you happy? You got to do a personal inventory on yourself. Have you even done a personal inventory on yourself? Do you even know what I'm talking about? Like most of you can relate, like if you just drink too much, and you wake up off hungover, and it's, oh Lord, you're usually in your mind feeling you're doing a personal inventory, like, oh man, I'll never do that again. I ain't drinking. Like, I need some Chinese food. That's the simplest kind of analogy. But if you do follow through, just like the Nike, just do it. I mean, that sounds so stupid and I didn't get it, but it's like genius. Like, yeah, just do it. A lot of times, just don't even think what you're doing. Just go do it. Don't like, well, see, I got it. No, push through. Toughen up, buttercup. This is the world. So I start with a thought, and those thoughts become plans, and those plans become thought patterns that I, just with like my podcast. I've been thinking about doing my podcast since like 2017, and I was going to do something more of like LA, here, there, this is blah, 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 blah. And I did the Adam the Woo show. I met Adam when I was working on Hollywood on the microphone. Hey, he put me on his live stream one night. There was like 100,000 people watching it. And so I realized, you know what, that's kind of conquered ground. There's him and this guy and that guy, that's what they're, what do I have that, I can, I got, that's what I have. That's the, the well, if, floweth over, or the well. I mean, so again, you got to work with what you have. So it's like, okay, yeah, I can. And I've thought about doing like spoken word or whatever. And everybody loves to rant. I mean, but that's what the thought starts. Like, okay, yeah. And when I was moving out, and again, then in LA, just the noise where I live by the alley. It's packed. There's all these houses around. I mean, there's no, it's just everything all the time. And I was like, yeah, I don't want to, so I knew I was getting out of LA, moving back to the Midwest. And again, thought pattern, like stay on track, get there, decompress, and do it in May. Because I wanted to start, I was like, give yourself a little bit of time, because I got here like in February. I get here in February. Yeah, something like that. Been like 3 or 4 months. And then do it. Bam, start. Like you're gonna, And again, nobody's watching these. I'm not, it's again, that's kind of reminds me of when I had bands, like every band I've ever started. You play live and there's like 10 people in the club. 6 of them work there, and the other 4 are like your girlfriend, But then every band that I started playing big shows. Same thing with my YouTube channel. It's like, yeah, at first you're at that club. There's only 10 people, hell, I don't even think I'm getting 10 views of video. That's how it is. I'm talking to Adam the Woo, who's successful now. I think he said he had over 1,000 videos before he got, he'd been doing it for a long while. So again, your thoughts, what do you want to do? Do you have the follow through, the plan? Because when you stick to it, I mean, self-discipline, actually, it leads to happiness. I'm not talking about discipline, like, yeah, some kind of crazy stuff. No, I'm talking about like you discipline your life. Okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do whatever that is. And stick with it. I'm like, no, today I just don't. That leads to misery. Because then you have regret. And then, oh my God. And I don't live my life that way. Granted, sometimes you take a day off. Like I was sick last week. I took like 2 days off doing the podcast because I was just sick. And then the other days I just force myself. You're going to do it. But yeah, I also found the self-realization. I learned about self-realization. I realized that there was a self-realization center in LA on the top of Mount Washington. It was founded by the Paramahansa Yogananda. And it's meditation. You could be any religion to do it, And then because I kind of knew about him. I'm a big Elvis fan. I knew Elvis was, and then he's on the Paramahansa's pictures on the Sgt. Pepper album. Steve Jobs his book, Autobiography of a Yogi. Get it, read it, check it out at the library. It's awesome. Steve Jobs of Apple used to give those out. George Harrison, he used to keep stacks of them in his house. When people were down, he'd just give them that, read that. So I found out about the Self-Realization Center, and I'd go up there and hang out in the garden. It's beautiful up there. It was one of Elvis's favorite places. There's another one in like Bel Air. It's like the Lake Shrine. But I always went to the Mount Washington because it was closer. And you could actually, from where I was at, get on the train, take it to that exit, whatever exit it was, and then call the monks. And they'd come down in a van and pick you up and take you back. I used to go, one of my favorite places to go. I mean, I would go there, and I also see people doing. There's like a little garden on the hill there with like these stone tables, and people doing like Hollywood business stuff there. I mean, people are into it. Again, Elvis loved that. It was one of his favorite places to go. And I'd go and do like sitting meditation. And again, it isn't about Hinduism or anything. It's like self-realization, like what's inside of you. What are you, you're connected. We're spiritual beings trapped in this mortal coil. I mean, if you don't believe that, I don't know what else to tell you. So you have to use your thoughts to figure stuff out. Your thoughts create things. Because you're born, you don't know your name, who you're, what. We're all just like, there you are. And the world's kind of a mysterious place. I mean, people, scientists say, we know what's going on. Yeah, a little bit, but not everything. And it's a pretty dangerous world. I mean, even the modern world, but like just think it like in the jungle, like just Amazon. Could you you'd be eaten up by flies, bitten by a bad snake or something. It is. So you have to control how you do that with your thoughts. What do I want to be? Who am I going to think myself into, And it's like that. I mean, literally, you can be having a bad day and just like push that, turn that frown upside down. But if you're going down that road, I mean, and we're all guilty of it, nobody's exempt from it. But if you have your plan on your mind, then nothing's going to affect you. If you're thinking like, hey, I got this plan, this is what I'm doing. I know whoever does watch this will be like, yeah, we know that. But I don't see a lot of people that are doing some of this because some of this is monkey simple. It's just the repetition of doing it through your life. You just get off track and, But yeah, I would recommend looking into self-realization. The Paramahansa Yogananda. Read his book, Autobiography of a Yogi. Watch The Secret if you haven't, the one with Rhonda Byrne, I think her name is. And most of you will be like, oh, wow, I'm already doing this already. So if I can just, it's some kind of mystic, the law of attraction, man. What you think about comes at you. Like, Mother Teresa in the documentary, they talk about Mother Teresa would never go to an anti-war rally, but she would go to a peace rally. Because in her mind, she thought, well, it's anti-war, war. If you're just focusing, you're saying war, you're actually making more of it. You got to don't focus on the opposite. Peace, love. Yeah, it's going on, everything, but you want to, and I get it. I don't want to be late. You're going to be late. Comes running at you. Then you realize these patterns. It's like, oh wow, like some of these things I'm creating with my thoughts and what I say. Be careful what you say. Don't repeat bad things about you. I mean, what other people think about me is none of my business. In my humble opinion, technically, a curse is what other people say about you, and then you believe it, they believe it, you're cursed. It is not, it ain't a witch with a, cauldron with a bat wing. No. Simple, silly shit we do every day. And we all know people who gossip and just Debbie down, or Jimmy bad mood or whatever. And I've had, again, they're around. And a lot of times they'll snap into that when it's like, I'm so happy this is going on. And then you look out and you're like, are you kidding me? I just try to distance myself in those situations. Because a lot of times it would be like, I've had bands where like a couple days before we have like a showcase with a major label, somebody quits out of nowhere. What is it? Having to do another showcase at the Viper Room with like people I've never even played with because, have to be strong in your mind and your thoughts and kind of like be the, captain of the ship. Because it's almost like sometimes people are like, yeah, hey, let's go. Let's get that. No. I'm not going down that, vindictive road. So yeah, my thoughts are succeed, happiness, good health for me and my dogs, love, wishing people wealth, prosperity. For me, it's so much easier to do the right thing. I mean, that's just, it's so much harder to just be all, for me anyway. It might be easier, but I try not to dawn on the past and, think about the future. That's all we have is the now, And they say if you think about too much about the past, it causes depression. If you think about too much about the future or worrying about the future, it causes anxiety and panic. Got to be centered and certain. That was actually the name of my vocal when I was teaching vocal lessons. It was the centered and certain. Once you're centered, once you're certain, then you could sing like a bird. You can do it all through your life, And I'm going to do a episode about my vocal lesson, time I was doing in my method and whatever. Just a quick thing about that, about singing. Most of your power comes from your legs. You got to be centered and certain. Your gut, yeah. Your legs, diaphragm, the motor, your vocal cord, that's just the transmission. You don't get anything from this. This is transmitting sound. Don't be working from here. Work from here and then your legs. Get a stance. It's best to have like a kind of sideways stance. Anyway, I'm going to talk about that. But yeah, and that started with a thought. Like, I'm not kidding. I was literally, how can I have people come bring me money to my front door? Well, I just start teaching vocal lessons from home. Boom. There you go. I did for 6 solid years and I started getting burnt out and just dealing with people. You must have to be like a therapist too. Matter of fact, I could only there were hour lessons. I could only do 4 a day. Because it was just sometimes it was even worse. It felt like you dug a ditch. But it was awesome. I loved doing it. Again, and it started with a thought. Those thoughts create things. Be mindful of your thoughts. And I'm going to get out of here. I love y'all. If there's anybody even watching this, I love you. Be blessed. And I'll see you tomorrow. Cheers.